We don't have a speedometer today because I broke the pin going to the back of it. Probably be third gear, 3,000 RPM maybe.
Like 40 miles an hour.
But yeah, it's gonna be around 45 miles an hour is where we're gonna be stopping from. That is the official approximate speed that we're gonna be working.
I'm gonna start as soon as we pass that sign, or just tell me when to start.
3, 2, 1.
Oh. All right, we had 341, 320.
I like 3.6. So we're looking 3.2 or 3.6.
Or yeah. What you just saw was the first brake test before we switched to the Brembos. So we're gonna do a quick little explanation of the Brembos. I say quick little every time, it's never been quick.
Sometimes he lies.
We're gonna have a little chat about brakes, and then we're gonna install them and then do another brake test because science and professionalism. Peter.
Orangutan.
Okay, so today we're working on my friend Paiter Supra. You would have seen this car in our introduction video, sliding through our church parking lot. Today, he has stuck calipers. So the best way to fix that is with Brembos. Paiter here is going to explain a little bit about what situation we are in with this.
The Mark III Supra is commonly known as the thick boy of the family. It's heavy. The aftermarket brake kits that Brembo like makes and they just make for the thing are mad expensive because it's just Brembo. But I really wanted to upgrade them to 4-pot or whatever, just a nice, more reliable setup because the front calipers on the Mark III Supra also seize frequently, which has happened to me 3 times, which is why now I'm at this point in my life. So I did some digging online and I have found that there is a hodgepodge kit. You get the calipers from a 2001 era Mercedes S500, which it still says Mercedes on there.
For a classy look.
Yeah, exactly. So you get the calipers from that. You can buy them used. The rotors, you're going to need to upgrade those because those are bigger. Stock rotor is a 12-inch. This is a 13-inch. This came off of a 2012 Mercedes R350, so like the big SUV. And those do use 5x112. But because the bore of the lug holes are bigger because SUV, it fits 5x114, and it's weird, but it works. And then you just need to get new pads that fit that go to the same car with the caliper, and then you also need to buy new bolts because they're different thread pitch from Japan to Germany than the bolts that we use. To space it out, you need washers. If you're like a machinist type guy, you cut that off and then sand around it, so when you just shorten this.
As with all of the modifications we do, there's many options, but this is just what we're gonna do. So, for entertainment purposes, we're just showing you our setup. His setup. Not my car. So, Paiter took the pads out, so we can try to show you better what the differences are between the 4-pot Brembos and the single piston little lady brake. Obviously upgrading brakes does a lot of different things to help you brake more efficiently, but it helps you brake long term, more consistently. It's going to be able to absorb more heat because it's more metal, and in this case it's drilled and slotted and bigger. The 1J that's in his Supra right now came out of a front cut of a Japanese 1J ZR. JZ A70R. So all of the parts we're showing you now came off of that front clip.
There's a single pot which has one single piston, the 4-pot which has 4 different pistons. This one is also a solid rotor. Yeah, the neat thing about the full floating setup is that this bracket here doesn't exist, or is integral to the caliper, so it doesn't move around. This one slides back and forth as this push, and as that pushes inwards this way, it pushes these slides, and then it pulls this side this way. And the pads sit in the bracket. The cool thing about the Brembos, aside from the sheer mass of them, the only thing that moves in there is the pistons, and they squeeze evenly without any of this movement.
Also, we do have to modify these slightly.
If you take a gander, you got these nubs here, this side and this side. For some reason, they felt the need to add all this extra material to it, which isn't really a big deal. It needs to be a little bit wider. Idiot.
We're gonna go put these on the car now, right? And then go retry our brake test.
That sounded so simple.
It did. It's important to get helpers when you're working on cars.
I don't know, maybe they do things different in Japan.
So another modification that's needed is to cut the dust shield off the back behind the rotor to fit the bigger rotor, because obviously from a factory condition, the dust shield goes over the edges of the rotor, but these rotors are way larger. So you're gonna have to cut that guy off, the thing, not that guy. And then you can start putting the new stuff on. He happened to do the right thing and get a centering ring for that. So we're gonna clean that off and put the centering ring on to fit the new rotor on, and then start fitting up the calipers. Alright, so this is the moment of truth. We're gonna find out if our modifications to the Brembos worked and if they fit on the hub.
You're nervous. Stop freaking out, man. Yeah, it's like that far off.
Oh no.
So these are the wrong calipers. The right ones actually have this whole like no bar set up here. And these actually come down a little further. Yeah, pretty great.
So the rotors need to be shimmed so that they don't wobble around, because you obviously want a solid brake feel. So Paiter's solution was wheel spacers that will trim down to fit underneath the rotor, and you have to trim the top so they don't stick out past the rotor, so the wheel has a solid flat surface to seat on.
You get your finger in there without it getting touched. Oh. You have failed the knife game. Okay.
Don't do this. So now the rotor hub-centric ring is on. The wheel spacers have to go on, and then we're going to fit up the calipers, which is the same as installing any other caliper, just these are a lot bigger and better and nicer.
Oh. Jerry,
Yeah.
we need to drill out those holes.
On the knuckle?
On the knuckle.
Brembos. That's a set of Brembo brakes on a Supra. You can't see it, but it's a Supra. Ignore the wrong direction of the tire. We're just trying to fit the rim over the brakes. I keep saying we, it's really Paiter. This was a double foot, double hand installation method.
And we're going to need a spacer like twice as big. Or
No, is it too big?
Yeah.
Dude.
Hey, man, you win some, you lose some. So do I big spacer? Or do I rim?
Yeah, maybe not rims. Rims are a big immediate expense.
Yeah, but